It's time to get confident and become a confident property investor. In this video, we're going to be chatting about how you can build your confidence to go out there and buy your first home. We're going to be discussing the tips and tricks about exactly how to start building your property portfolio to give yourself more choices, create more time in your life, to do the things you love, spend time with the people you love. It's absolutely possible. Now, my name's Luke and I talk all things real estate, renovating and financial freedom here on the channel. If you want to head over to purposeproperty.com.au, you can book in a free strategy session with myself and chat about buying a property here in the Greater Brisbane market in the next 6 months. Now, what does it take to become a confident investor? The first thing that I have on my list is understanding your research. Now, property is a game of both art and science. So when it comes to the science of property investing, you need to understand your numbers. For me, I want to look at the quantitative and the qualitative data when it comes to making a property investment decision. The quantitative data is things like days on market, vacancy rates, incomes, forecast incomes. You can find a lot of this data on CoreLogic, on SQM Research, on DSR. There's a great amount of resources out there to help you pull apart suburbs and narrow down which suburbs might suit you and your price point. So make sure you understand the quantitative data. Once you understand the quantitative data, it's then time to look at both the qualitative data. So we've talked about the science, now it's time to talk about the art of property investing. So with this qualitative data, you want to get a look and feel of the suburbs that you've narrowed down on. What do they feel like walking the streets at night? How are the schools rated in those areas? How walkable? What's the lifestyle like? What are the shops like and the cafes? Is it a trendy or gentrifying area? You need to put together the quantitative and the qualitative data to build together your research profile of the suburbs you want to narrow in on. Now, there are thousands of suburbs here in Australia. So my general investing philosophy is to narrow down to locations that have at least 100,000 people. These would be more developed areas like major regional towns or major cities like Brisbane's, like Perth's, Adelaide's. Or for example, Emily and I have bought a unit block in Coffs Harbour, which is in northern New South Wales and has around 100,000 people in the area. So doing your research is going to give you confidence about what areas you want to narrow in on. Now, if you do want to come here and buy in Southeast Queensland and you want a buyer's agent to help you through the process, then you can head over to purposeproperty.com.au to book in a free chat with myself. But it's absolutely possible to do this yourself. You don't need a buyer's agent. If you've got the time and you're willing to do the research yourself and the legwork, it's possible for you to do this yourself too. But if you feel like there's value in using a buyer's agent like myself who can handle the negotiations, who can handle the due diligence, who can narrow down the properties for you, then absolutely go out there and find the right buyer's agent for you. Now we've got the research unpacked, the next step is to understand your finances. Michael Yardney, who's a property commentator I used to listen to, said a lot that property is a game of finance. Now, given my background and that I still am a chartered accountant here in Australia, that's the reason I went into accounting. It's not actually that I had a love for accounting and financial statements. I was actually interested in business. When I was in high school, I clearly remember having a careers advisor chat, sitting down with the careers advisor in year 10, and they asked me, Luke, what do you want to do when you finish high school? I already had my answer ready for them. I said, I want to go study a Bachelor of Commerce, majoring in accounting and finance, and that's what I want to do. Because I already wanted to be involved in the business world. So I wanted to understand the numbers, how businesses worked, and that's exactly what you need to do when it comes to building your property portfolio. If you don't understand your numbers as a property investor, you don't know where you're at or where you're heading. So you need to understand your property portfolio. Now, there's a lot of tools out there. There's a lot of these new software providers coming out, but I'm more of the view that I like it in a basic Excel or Google sheet. You don't need fancy forecasts. You just need to run your profit and loss. So the income, the expenses, you need to look at your asset, your liability, which is the debt that you have with the bank, and you need to look at your equity position, which is the value of money you've put into the deal, as well as the increased value of the property over time. So the biggest way for you to get confidence in your finances is to actually have a chat with your broker or bank. Now, Emily and I started out working with the banks. When we started building our property portfolio, we reached directly out to CBA. Given my background as a chartered accountant, I was very confident in talking about the numbers and happy to share that detail with our lending specialist at the bank. And then from there, we started working with mortgage brokers to grow our property portfolio. So make sure you reach out to your broker or bank to work out what your borrowing capacity is. That's when you can couple your borrowing capacity and your confidence in your finances to go out there and take action. So you can't really be a confident investor if you don't have any investments. So the next point is you need to go out and buy. You need to take action. So look at your research, look at your borrowing capacity and your financial capacity, and then take action. Don't sit on that for 12 months, 24 months, 3 years, 4 years, and let time pass. If you're not in the market, investing over time, over a longer period of time, you're not giving yourself the opportunity for compound growth. I think this step trips a lot of people up. They'll watch hundreds of YouTube videos, they'll do courses, they'll spend money on tools and investment tools and things like that, and they'll even pay for mentorship, but they won't go out and take action. Without the action, you won't get the results. If you do nothing, that is a decision. Sitting on the sideline is a decision. And for me, when people chat to me about our property portfolio, and aren't you worried about the debt, and aren't you worried about the risks, I always have the inverse thought. I'd be more worried if I hadn't done something, if I hadn't taken the risk. The important thing to understand here is that you're taking a calculated risk. We're trying to reduce the risk by doing the research, by understanding our finances, and that's how you become a confident investor. It's not because you're cocky and you think you're great and you're a big top dog because you've bought a couple of investment properties and you're creating wealth. It's not about that. It's never been about that for me. It's been about creating choices and managing the risk. So managing the risk means doing your due diligence. And then your character is more about why you're building your property portfolio. It's not to big note yourself and say you've got 100 properties or 10 properties or 5 properties or 10 million or 50 million. It's actually more for me about the choices. It's about creating choice of time to go out and take on more risks in other areas of your life. For example, I would never have been able to start this buyer's agency if I hadn't invested in our property portfolio with Emily. We took the calculated risks and that enabled us to start our business with freedom. We have the choice of clients. We can say no to clients. It gives you more autonomy if you can create the choices by building out your property portfolio. So make sure you do step number 3, which is take action, because without it, you won't be an investor at all. This leads me to my final point for today's video about being a confident property investor, and it's trusting the process. You need to trust that you're investing for a long period of time. You're not a speculator, you're not a short-term day trader, you're investing in property for a long period of time. Yes, we might have levers or strategies we're going to use to fast track your journey. For example, buy, renovate, refinance, and repeat, using that burst strategy to fast track your property portfolio journey. You might also want to pull the lever of adding a granny flat or doing a subdivision. There's levers you can pull along the way, but all in all, you're going to trust the process for a long period of time. You're not going to jump in and out of the market. That's where you're going to get burnt with buying and exiting costs on that property. So make sure you have faith and trust in the process. My life has faith in many different ways, but you need to trust the process and understand that property is a long-term game. Now, if you're struggling to be a confident property investor, it's important to do these steps. Maybe find a mentor throughout that journey or work with a buyer's agent to help you take action. If you're not sure what the steps are in buying and building a multi-million-dollar property portfolio, I have a course called Invest with Purpose. It's less than $500. And if you use the code 15OFF, you'll get another 15% off the current price. The purpose of the course is to run you through a chronological order of how to buy and scale a multi-million-dollar property portfolio. And if you're looking for a buyer's agent to help you secure your own home or an investment property here in the Southeast Queensland market, head over to purposeproperty.com.au to book in a free strategy session with myself. So I'd love to hear from you down in the comments below. Are you a confident, not a cocky property investor? I know myself, even with my alopecia at the moment, with my hair changing, I'll probably be bald very soon. It's about confidence, about being confident in yourself, who you are, and what you're looking to achieve, both personally and professionally. So I see the same for your property portfolio. You can get confidence by following these steps we talked about today and building out your portfolio over time to give yourself choices. So leave a comment down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts about being a confident property investor. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.